So a couple of days ago, we tested the Poco F6, and today we got the big brother, and that is the Poco F6 Pro, which definitely has a few benefits compared to the F6. You get a Gorilla Glass 5, the screen gets much brighter, and you can even shoot videos in 8K resolution. So today we will check out all the features and specs, and let's start with the unboxing. So right here we have the Poco F6 Pro box with the typical black and yellow cover. Inside we will find the quick starting guide and more paper stuff. There is the SIM card remover, and you will get a free black silicone case to it as well. Underneath you will find your Poco F6 Pro. I got it in the color white, but you can also get it in black. Those are, by the way, the only colors that you can get right now. On the bottom of the box there is the USB Type-C cable and the 120 watts fast charging brick. Now up to the specs and the design. So the Poco F6 Pro is just as big as the Poco F6 with a display size of 6.67 inches. Now this phone weighs in at 209 grams, which is not heavy, but you definitely feel the difference to other smartphones. Normally smartphones only weigh in about 180 grams. So the display is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 5, you get an aluminum frame and a glass back. And now talking about the back side, the upper third of this phone is actually completely occupied by the triple cam setup. There is a 50 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. The rest of the backside has this very cool Arctic white pattern on it. And I think it really looks awesome, plus you don't see your fingerprints on it at all. Now even though your camera sit on an extra element, they actually don't stick out as much, which is again a nice thing to have. So you get a 6.67 inch AMOLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate, which you can adjust in the system settings to either 120, 60, or you can just leave it in the auto mode. Now this phone lights up with a peak brightness of 4000 nits, which is crazy bright. I actually cannot think of a smartphone right now that gets that bright. Now you got Dolby Vision and HDR10 plus resolution on this phone, and in combination with your very slim bezels you get a great video watching experience with dark blacks, good contrast and poppy colors. Then you will find some other display settings, like you can change the color scheme to vivid or saturated, and you can also change the color temperature, and there's even adaptive colors which adjusts colors to an ambient light. You get a reading mode which adjusts colors and textures of the items on your screen, allowing your eyes to relax a little bit more, which is basically the blue filter of this phone. And then you can also change the display resolution from 2400 by 1080p to 3200 by 1440p, which adds some extra clarity to your images, but this one comes at the cost of your battery life. And that's not even it. You got the AI image engine, which has more features than on the normal F6. You got the super resolution, which upscales the video resolution, AI image enhancement, which brings more details to your pictures. There is the AR HDR enhancement, which brings out more detail in the lighter and darker areas of your videos. And then you got the MEMC, which adds additional frames to your videos, which makes content appear much smoother. And this one is actually a great feature and I love it. As for your sound, you have Dolby Atmos and an equalizer, and I think the stereo speakers on this phone are doing a very good job with decent loudness, and the quality is good as well. But that's how it sounds like. So we got the traditional Poco box. First we get the little package with the paper stuff, and there's even a free silicone case. Next up, the battery life, and the Poco F6 Pro comes with a 120 watts fast charging brick. With this one it only takes about 20 minutes until your smartphone is fully charged. And overall, the 5000 mAh battery of the smartphone easily lasts you through a whole working day with about 7 hours of screen time. You can play a lot, shoot videos and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, we have no wireless and no reverse wireless charging on here. Alright, feature wise, this phone has a lot to offer. First up, you have to know that this phone runs on HyperOS based on Android 14 with 3 years of OS and 4 years of security updates. Then there are a few different sizes. You can grab this phone with 256, 512 or with 1 terabyte of internal storage, and each one comes in at a different price. It's either 580, 630 or 700 euros over here in Germany. Now of my 256 gigs internal storage, about 16 gigs are already used up by some system files and 10 gigs are already occupied by the system. So actually a little bit more than usual. Then you have a fingerprint sensor underneath your display, and this one works actually quite good, and you got a face detection as well. You also get a few fingerprint animations if you want to spice things up a little bit. There are also a few other features like gesture controls. Right here you can take screenshots with your 3 fingers and even take partial screenshots as well if you press and hold your fingers on the screen. You can quickly launch the camera by double pressing the side button twice, and you got a back tap feature which opens up any of your apps by tapping on the back of your phone. This phone has floating windows, there is a heart rate sensor, and a second space if you happen to share your smartphone with someone else. Just like on the F6, there is an always on display mode as well with different background styles. You have analog and digital clocks and other custom backgrounds. As for the performance and gaming, there's really nothing too fancy about this phone. Like with most smartphones, you can use all features on here without any lags or stuttering, but you can also play most games on this phone as well, thanks to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. Like always, I'll play Genshin Impact, and you can play on a consistent frame rate without the game booster. You can have massive fights and all of that without a problem. Then you have a game booster with a performance mode. You can change the touch sensitivity. You got a voice changer. You can take screenshots and screen record. So you got all of the bases covered right here. As for the camera, so I told you got a 50 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization, which can shoot videos in 8K and 24 FPS. You have an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now on the front you have a 60 megapixel selfie cam, which can shoot videos in 1080p and 60 FPS. But one thing that you have to know is that you have to turn off the HDR in order to use the 8K resolution on the main camera. The Poco F6 Pro comes with a few camera modes, like you get a portrait mode, a night mode, panorama, time-lapse, slow-mo, or long exposure. Picture-wise, there's nothing bad I can say about this phone. Pictures are not as poppy as with other cameras similar to the Poco F6. Pictures right here look a little bit darker and more natural, but you still have a very good quality. Lots of details and a good contrast. Now I do have to say that pictures that you take with the main camera are a bit more vivid than the pictures with the ultra wide angle one. You can definitely tell the difference if you look at the green grass. The portrait shots on this phone is great with a clear image in the front and a good background blurriness. And if you're wondering about the 2x zoom, this one looks great in my opinion. Just don't zoom any further as pictures are getting worse and worse. And guys, there we have it. That's the Poco F6 Pro. Now if you liked that video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.